Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In this video we will discuss the second order system. The generic transfer function for the second order system is given by this equation, that is kdc into omega n square divided by s square plus 2 zeta omega n into s plus omega n square. So what is zeta? Zeta is the damping factor. In our discussion we will assume that DC gain is 1, so we will use this transfer function, that is omega n square over s square plus 2 zeta omega n s plus omega n square. Now the poles of this second order system can be determined by setting this equation equal to 0. So this equation is called the characteristic equation. So characteristic equation is this one. So using the quadratic formula we can find out the poles of the second order system. So the poles are given by this equation, that is minus zeta omega n, this term divided by 2. So this will give you zeta omega n, and from here you can take out 4 as a common one, divide by 2, so that will become 1, and taking omega n square as a common out, so this will become omega n, and inside the square root we will be left with zeta square minus 1. So this is the equation giving us the two poles S1 and S2 of the second order system. Now let's discuss the position of these poles with reference to this damping factor. Let's suppose that the damping factor is equal to 1. So where will be our poles? So if we place 1 over here, so 1 minus 1, this will be 0. So this term will be gone. Right, so we will be left with only this part minus zeta omega n. So our first pole will be at minus zeta omega n, the second pole will also be at zeta omega n, and zeta is equal to 1, so it will be at minus omega n. So both the poles are at the same position, that you can see over here in this pole 0 map. This is the real axis, this is the imaginary axis, and both of the poles are at minus omega n. So poles are real and they are equal, they are at the same position, and they lie on the negative real axis minus sigma axis, right? So if we look at the response of the second order system, when the poles are placed over each other, they are at same position and have the equal values, then the response of the step response of the second order system will be of shape like this. So this is called the critically damped response. There is no oscillation in this one. When we apply the step input, slowly you achieve the required output. Okay, so when the zeta is equal to 1, the poles are placed over here and we have this response. Now let's consider the second case when the zeta is between 0 and 1. So for that, taking this equation A, which is representing the poles of the second order system, so in this we are going to replace this zeta with the value that is between 0 and 1. So definitely it will be less than 1, so it will be a complex number. So I can write it taking the j over here and swapping this one, 1 minus zeta square. So I can take the j out, that is the iota or the complex operator. So our poles, when the zeta is between 0 and 1, when our damping factor is between 0 and 1, is those poles are represented by this equation. So now if I look at this one, there is the real part and there is the imaginary part. So our poles are complex and they will be complex conjugate, one with the positive sign, the other one with the negative sign. So our poles are complex conjugate, and where our poles are located, as the real part is negative, so the pole will be in the second quadrant and will be in the third quadrant. Okay, so this pole S1, this is our one pole, and over here its real part will be minus zeta omega n, and its imaginary part is omega n into 1 minus zeta square. So let me call that omega n into 1 minus zeta square is equal to omega d. So the pole position is plus j omega d, and the position of this pole, and the real part is zeta omega n, and the imaginary part is minus j omega d. So our poles are in the second and the third quadrant, and the omega t is defined like that. Now if we subject this system to the step input, the response will be like that, that there will be the oscillations, and finally the steady state will be achieved. So in this case, the system is said to be underdamped. That is the underdamped response. There is no significant damping. That's why there are the oscillations in your system, and slowly those oscillations decay and the system reaches to steady state value. So damping is less as compared to the previous case. So that is indicated over here that we are taking the range from 0 to 1. Now let's consider the third case in which the zeta is greater than 1. That is the damping factor, damping ratio. So zeta, if it is greater than 1, so what about this factor? This will be positive. So this will be a real number. So real number added with a real number will give you a real number. So poles are real, but those are unequal. Why they are unequal? Because over here we have zeta square minus 1, and that will always be less than z, that is not equal to this one. So when you perform either plus or minus of these two terms, so you will get two different terms. So roots are always on the negative real axis when the zeta is greater than 1, but these two roots are unequal. So this is the center point minus zeta omega n, that is this one root will be on the right hand side, one pole over here, and the position of this one minus zeta omega n plus omega n into zeta square minus 1, and the second pole will be on the left hand side, and that will be minus zeta omega n minus omega n into under root zeta square minus 1. So both the poles are on the negative real axis when your zeta is greater than 1, and the step response for this particular situation when the damping is greater than 1 is this one, that is the step response, very slow response, and very slowly our system approaches to the steady state value. So when our poles are over the real axis and they are at different location, our system becomes slower, and when they come to this position, system becomes a bit faster, and when the poles goes over here, so there will be the oscillations like this, and finally the system is going to settle down. So as the position of the poles changes, the response of the system changes. Now let's suppose that there is no damping, the zeta is equal to 0. So from first equation, the poles are given by this one. So if the zeta is 0, so this is 0, so only minus 1 is left. This term is also 0. So the poles are on the imaginary axis, plus minus j omega n. So here you can see one pole is over here and the second pole is over here. The two poles are over the imaginary axis, right? So poles are complex with only imaginary part, number one. Number two, the poles lie on the j omega axis, and these poles are the conjugate of each other. So you can say the mirror of this pole is this one. So in this case, if we look at the response of the system, if we give this step input, there will be the never decaying oscillations, there will be the oscillatory response because our poles are at the imaginary axis. So that is said to be the undamped response when there is no damping. So whenever you are going to apply the step input, our system will be showing the oscillations. Okay, now let's consider the case when our zeta is between 0 and minus 1. So if you look at the pole equations, pole equation is this one, and by using the value of the zeta between minus 1 and 1, you will see that our poles are now in the right half plane. These are the complex poles, conjugate pair of each other, and the system is unstable because if you give the step input to that one, so the response is like that. It is ever increasing response with the time. So we say that the system is unstable when the zeta is between minus 1 and 0. It means there is no damping in your system. Okay. Now the sixth case, when the zeta is equal to minus 1, when the zeta is equal to minus 1, so this part is going to become 0, and this is going to become omega n. So two poles are at same position in the right half plane. So if you look at the response for this particular condition, when the poles are in the right half plane, the response is like that. And again, it's an unstable system because your output is continuously increasing with the time. There is unbounded output. So it is an unstable system. Both the poles lie over the positive sigma axis. So whenever your pole will be in the right half plane, your system will be unstable. The response will be ever increasing. And we have also seen it over here that if the zeta is between -1 and 0, you have the poles over here. This is the unstable system. When the zeta is equal to -1, so your poles are in the right half plane, this is also an unstable system. Similarly, if the zeta is less than -1, so this is the equation for the roots of the second order system. So if we take zeta less than -1, this will become positive. And what about this one? As the zeta is less than -1, so this will be this will become positive but greater than 1. So this will be a real number. So the pole will be on the real axis, and they will be different because the zeta square -1 under root is less than zeta. So pole lies on the sigma axis. Poles are real. System is unstable because you can look at the response when the poles are at these positions. So step output is unbounded, so system is unstable, and poles are in the right half plane. That's why you can say that system is unstable. So whenever the poles are in the right half plane, your system will be unstable because it will give you the unbounded output for the even bounded inputs. Okay, so now let's look at the root locus. So when our zeta is equal to 0, our poles are over the imaginary axis over here. One pole is at j omega and the other one at minus j omega. The system is said to be undamped, and in this case the response will be oscillatory. Now if we change the zeta, and the zeta is varied such that it is now increased from 0 towards 1, so the poles will be moving like that, and the poles will be the conjugate pair. If there is a pole over here, there will be the mirror image of this one pole over here. Now if we increase the zeta, this pole moves over here, and this pole moves over here, and so on. If we keep on increasing this zeta, our pole will be taking this path, moving from here to here. So when the zeta is between 0 and 1, right, our poles are over this trajectory. So your system is said to be under damped system, right, and the response of the system is like this. There are some oscillations, and finally it settles to the steady state value. Okay, so after once the zeta becomes equal to 1, your both of the poles traveling over this path reaches to this position. So both the poles overlap. So this is said to be the critically damped system. When the zeta is equal to 1, both poles overlap each other, and in that case the response will be like this. The oscillations will disappear. When the zeta is over here, when your poles are over here, when those are complex, conjugate of each other, then there are the oscillations, and finally decaying oscillations, and the response will be like that. Now after the zeta is further increased above 1, so these poles starts moving like that. One pole start moving over here, and the other poles start moving over here. So one pole move towards the infinity, and the other poles move towards the origin. So the system becomes overdamped, and its response becomes slower and slower as you will increase the distance between the poles. So the system response will become slower one. Okay, so when you are moving the poles over this path, and the response of your system will be changed. If the zeta is less than 1, so your poles will be taking this path and will be overlapping each other, and then one pole will move in this direction and one pole will move in this direction. But this is the unstable region, so I am not going to discuss it in more detail. Right? Whenever your poles are in the right half plane, your system is unstable. So we are just going to look at the stable part, and that is the left half plane of your this S plane. So if your poles are in this left half plane, your system will be stable. So this is the locus of the roots or the poles. So with the variation of the zeta starting from 0, when the 0 is there, your poles are over the imaginary axis and they move and travel like this, and the response of your system changes. So this is the root locus of the poles of your second order system.